Hello and welcome.
Happy Sunday.
How is everyone doing? Welcome
Good,
in.
I hope.
Yes.
Ugh, it was so cold this weekend.
Yeah, I don't like it.
It's like, what happened to fall? We had like, I don't know, I always talk about the weather, but it's a good opener. Yeah, we had like 3 good weeks of fall where it wasn't like super hot or super cold, and now it's just like, it snowed on Saturday.
Yeah.
No.
No.
In November, no thank you. Take it back. I don't want it.
That's why if we could just have summer, I would say
Ew,
just have some.
no.
Because you only get 3, as you said, 3 good weeks.
Why can't we just have longer fall? I just want more fall.
Winter is always coming. It's like inevitable.
Ugh. But I hate summer more than I hate winter, so.
Ugh.
It wants to be hot and sweaty, and it just makes me irritated. I hate it.
It's so much easier to walk out the door. You don't have to put anything on. Or, worry about...
I have to worry about my skin catching on fire in the sunlight, so... Summer is not for me. I would not move to a state where it was perpetually summer, always.
Well, ideally, no, but...
you can go if you want to.
Short winters would be great, but...
Sure.
I'm not trying to fly south for the winter.
I'll just take fall forever. That'd be great.
Fall forever? Mm-hmm. You could do that.
Yep, I would accept. Anyways...
Yeah. So anyway, we got some bottles.
We
got some bottles.
do have some bottles in general.
But some new bottles that we haven't talked about before. So that's what we're doing tonight.
Okay.
Yeah. Any thoughts on where to start? We have the Jack Daniel's twice barreled 100% American single malt is what this is.
We have this James B. Beam Distiller's Share bottle. It's a toasted brown rice. 125 proof. This came in our
barreled and boxed.
Yeah.
Box. Now that one wasn't on the thumbnail. I've decided to take that Article 106 and do it later because
we'll table it for now.
I was trying to find information on it and couldn't find it at all. There's also no UPC or anything on the bottle.
More research is required.
So more research on that is required. We're gonna push that one. So in its place, we could do that Jim Beam.
Sure.
But we also have the Kentucky Owl and the 2XO, which is a new thing from Dixon Dedman. And
that would be fun to see, new thing from Kentucky Owl, new thing from Dixon, and just kind of talk about it.
That's what I was thinking. And then we also have, what's our 4th bottle? I forgot. Oh, the Blueprint.
Blueprint.
Which is a new distillery. They're an NDP right now. They're sourcing.
Yeah.
But they will be producing.
They have a distiller. I think they're working on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, of the old Steelhouse Distillery, formerly the old Samuel's Distillery, which was an actual distillery back in the day, but was abandoned for a long time. So it's been recently revitalized, and it's also it's near Bardstown. So Blueprint has to do with when they bought the property and were going through and deciding to refurbish what or not. Mostly not to
We're gonna talk about it. Let's just do
it.
It's why do we not have it in our glass?
Sure, let's drink it.
Given the history here.
But they found a bunch of old blueprints from the original distillery. Thus, Blueprint is their first release.
Yeah, you can see the back of the bottle here. It's got the blueprint. But this is the first very, kind of a minimalistic front here, which is nice. It is 6-year age stated, non-chill filtered.
We like that.
This is
unfiltered, not cast strength.
Not cast strength, but unfiltered. Gives the mash bill, which is always a good start for a new company, being transparent. So it's 75% corn, 21% rye, 4% malted barley. I've heard that mash bill before. And it is this is number 001, so an ongoing release. And I think it's around $60, 57, $60. I've seen
very
it now.
Very recently released.
At Total Wine and
in Kentucky.
Liquor Barn. Yeah, so pause for cork pop. Oh, yeah. Good cork pop. Like that.
I haven't actually been out to the distillery.
Yeah.
We did talk to them, though, at the Kentucky Bourbon Festival. Which they've announced the dates for next year, by the way. To no one's shock. It's the same weekend that it has been. It's that mid-September weekend, the 15th through the 17th, which also happens to be the same weekend as Bourbon and Beyond, which is how it was this year. So it looks like they were doing a tentative, trying to figure it out. I'm sure that they probably wanted to see, after the fact, the feedback, the surveys, what do people think? But they had record attendance, so
Both of them did.
why wouldn't they? Just keep it up. People are already in town, so that's what they're doing. So tickets aren't on sale yet, but mark your calendars.
My pops are never that loud. It's never as loud as the first pop, you know?
Okay.
You undo the plastic and pop.
What was the proof again? You told me.
I don't think I did.
100 proof.
It's 100 proof.
We like 100 proof.
Yeah.
Especially for like an initial offering.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is blueprint of their grain bins. I don't know if you said that.
Yeah, so you can take like the historical tour, which I think they opted not to do or have yet to do. A lot of like refurbishments and stuff because a lot of things were left exactly how they were like historically. And so I think the thing is like why touch history is literally sitting right there where you can come look at it, you know? We need to go do the tour sometime when we're in Bardstown.
Kind of, I got sort of an orangey.
Yeah, it's got a nice little
Interesting.
orangey almondy note.
Yeah. What are you all drinking?
Gerald has got the Bardstown Prisoner tonight. That is kind of orangey.
It is.
I do get the orange and the almond.
A little cocktail vibe.
It does have a little bit of a cocktail vibe. Like, it's not sweet like that, but the flavors go in that direction.
Yeah. Yeah, so flavors of what you'd garnish, you know, a cocktail with. That oranginess, that citrus pop.
We have a question from Golf Whiskey, Glenn and Kathy.
Yes. Where?
Right there, at the newest one.
Oh.
New shirt, yes. This is a new design. This shirt just came in the mail yesterday. Our shipment of these has arrived. So these will be posted in the next week or so. We gotta, take their pictures and all the sizes and do the inventory and get them on the site. And we're definitely gonna have them on site in time for Black Friday. We will be having like a Black Friday deal, a sale.
Sure.
But yeah, we'll have new designs, including this one, which I love. I love our Drink More Bourbon long sleeve, so I've been itching for a new long sleeve. And you know how I feel about cast strength and unfiltered. I also feel like it's a reflection of my personality, like full force and no.
Well, Sarah with an H has
Sarah
no
with an H
filter.
is going to have no filter, but
Regular Sarah has.
a little bit of
I'd say mini filters.
filter.
Yeah, because you're always getting on me for not being filtered enough. So.
True. Let me sell my shirts, Chad. Back off. Quit analyzing me.
So we got some people drinking some Whitford Double Oak. We got some Very Old Barton 86, some Angel's Envy, the Bardstown Rum Collab cast finish, which is really good. Levi's drinking his Infinity bottle. Started out with the Raymond 6.
Nice.
Yeah. That came out Friday.
That was Friday's
That was
episode.
our Friday's episode, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Scott. That is Whiskey Ambitions, where those shirts and this shirt, pocket tee, can fit a
little Chad.
little Chad.
Can you fit a little Sarah?
Probably not. Little Sarah's big.
Introducing Lil Sarah.
Not available at whiskeyambitions.com,
Be
but
nice. You're right. It can't fit Lil Sarah.
no.
This Lil Sarah came from a different farm than
As
where
you
Lil
can
Chad
see.
came from. She stomps him. This was a gift at our meetup weekend from Tiffany and Kevin. They so thoughtfully sent my picture in and had this little... They were like, Lil Chad can't be alone. Lil Chad's got
Whoa.
a giant.
Yeah, giant.
So we know who the boss is, right?
Oh, come on. I will fly to New York and get a bigger version of Little Chad, just so we can be the same height.
Then I'll get
Or
a bigger
I'm little-
version of Lil Sarah when you go.
And eventually we'll just end up with life-size versions of ourselves.
Anyways, Lil Sarah. And now introducing...
What's on Sarah's hat? Well, that one's not ours. That's
This is just Castle and Key.
Castle and Key.
I do like this hat, though.
Yeah. First super chat of the evening goes to Tony Joey Bagadona Chocoloni, 76. How was your vacation, Sarah? Did you miss us? Welcome back. Cheers with a good old Wild Turkey 101.
I totally forgot that I
Thank
went
you,
on
Tony.
vacation.
You did.
I
You
did go.
weren't here last week.
I wasn't. I know that now. I remember now. I forgot that I was gone and now I'm back. It was good. I mean, it was eventful. I don't know. I liked it. I went to Greenville, South Carolina.
There you
It
go.
was quaint. It was perfect. All the trees changed, and they have that like Falls Park in the middle of the downtown area. And you just like walk through. It's basically like a giant garden with waterfalls and flowers, and that was nice. I like that. That's very much up my alley. I'm like trying to remember, what did I even do? Had a lot of good food. That's for sure. Did some book shopping. It was great. Little girls' weekend.
John said that little Sarah would make a great drink cover.
No bugs are coming in this drink. Little Sarah will get you.
Little Sarah will guard it.
She will guard it.
For show. John, I think we're going to be playing you in football next week. Is that right? We let Vandy win.
Oh, don't talk about sports.
Just to give you all a little bit of false security.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Did you even watch the game?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I watched it. I mean, not fully, but I watched it. Yeah, I like this. You know, it's like I said, that familiar 75-21-4.
Yeah, it's light, but it brings like an orangey herbal honey tea thing going on. Very familiar, you know. Good product though. I mean,
yeah, I tend to prefer that mash bill cast strength, which we have a couple of picks that have been that basically.
Yeah.
But at 100, it's you know, if you're in a 100 proof mood as opposed to a cast strength and unfiltered mood, then yeah, this would be right up your alley.
Yeah.
I feel like, and for the price, you know, for 6-year 75-21-4.
Yeah, I think there's been like a lot of discourse, and I don't know that I necessarily have an answer for this, but just something to like bring up and think about. It's like as we see more of the same mash bill or more distillate sourced from the same distillery, put out around the same price range, around the same proof, how does one choose? Like,
right.
Is it just
tune
based on
into us
price? I mean, because every blend, every selection is going to be a little bit different. So you do there's some variance there, but for the most part, I feel like people are like, you know, well, it's flooded, the market's flooded. But like, if it's a good product, then it's a lot of good product to choose from. But how do you make a choice when so many are the same 6 to 7 year, this mash bill around this proof? Like, how will people start to make a choice? I think it's going to be...
If they're not doing anything to modify it, if they're not blending different mash bills, or if they're not finishing it in a barrel or even double barreling, if it's just the straight up distillate from somewhere else, then how do you decide? I think cost comes into it.
For sure. Availability, design.
Sure. What's going to look better on your bar cart, right?
Connection with the story that the distillery is telling, what their end goal is, what they're trying to do. Because most people are putting out sourced distillate until they can get their own stuff off the ground. So do you want to support them in that? I mean, because we've established, like, this is good product. But, like, if someone gave us a flight of all products that are just like this in a line, how would we say one over the other if they're all roughly the same proof and all roughly the same price?
If they're all roughly the same proof, yeah.
It would be very difficult to say, like, you should drink this one over that one, because I don't know. It's just an interesting thing. Like, it's good to have a lot of options in the same price range and a good proof of good product. But then how do you choose when you're standing there in the liquor aisle and you're like, well, I'm glad that they're transparent. I think that's a good thing. But then you're like, how do I choose between these things that are essentially very much the same?
Very much the same.
Anyways, just, you know, Sarah thoughts.
We got Tiffany here, speaking of, saying we'll bring a matching little Chad to the next meetup. Oh,
don't you threaten Chad with a good time.
And then Scott Pigs reminding us that he talks sports on his channel. So if you are into the sports talk, go check out his channel. Along with the whiskey.
I would just be faking knowledge if I were to just... I mean, I'm sure you've seen it before.
Did you get a photo of the Ken and Barbie?
I saw the email and I flagged it. I haven't had a chance to go back and look at it.
It's the weekend. We tend to, you know, take a break from the emails
but
on the weekend.
She might have been sent it on a Thursday.
Oh.
We're gearing up for a barrel pick. We have a barrel pick launching this week with Patreon, and then hopefully, if it doesn't sell out, hopefully to the public later at the end of the week. So stay tuned for that. We've just been working away on getting that ready.
Yeah, for sure. And a big episode for next week, too.
Yes. And, the holidays and Black Friday and an episode every day in December.
Yeah.
Well, you just have a few irons in the fire. It's no big deal.
A few. Yeah, we have tried Still Awesome cast strength. I think we did it on a live.
Big fan. Like that.
I don't remember when, but yeah.
I think we probably did it right after we got back from Austin, which would have been in September.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's probably true. So yeah, I would say,
I'd say enough said about that.
Nothing revolutionary, but solid and a good price, especially in today's bourbon market. So, see a bottle, I'll give it a try.
Well, yeah, it is, like I said, I think it is just distributed in Kentucky right now.
Mm-hmm.
They have, since this came out, released their second batch. We don't have a bottle of that, but I think they're going to continue. So I don't know when it will distribute outside of Kentucky, but if someone's like, hey, I'm looking for something that I can only get in Kentucky, that technically would be true, even though it's not Kentucky distillate.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. Do with that information what you will.
This was the bottle in question. Article 106, impersonating an officer. It's bourbon whiskey finished in a rye whiskey barrel.
Yes. I know we have the information on this somewhere, but in many contact points.
So many ways to contact us.
Facebook, Instagram, Patreon.
We know who sent
emails.
it.
I don't remember where the information is, so we just need to track that down before we open it, because it is semi-unmarked.
Yeah. So, let's go with the...
Oh, scary.
I don't want to say the old because this is new, but I guess the older brand. Non-Dixon involved. This is after he left the distillery that he reinvigorated back in 2014 when he brought his great-great-grandfather, or maybe it might even be four greats, Kentucky Ale brand, which was shuttered, back to life. Mm-hmm. And then Stoli Group purchased it. He was with them for a while.
Did a couple of releases.
And then he decided to leave, and now he's doing his own thing, which we'll taste after this. Well, this is something that they have cooked up since his departure.
Yes. So they've also released it.
Release it, the hounds.
So this is like I would say a collaboration, I guess is what you would call it. And they've done another collaboration prior to this one that was like an Irish whiskey blend, right?
Yeah.
So this is a Japanese whiskey blend.
Well, it doesn't have any Japanese whiskey in it.
Okay, a collaboration with a Japanese whiskey blender.
Correct.
Apologies.
Yeah, it can get confusing, or people can, seem like it's that because of it, but it's actually not. It's a blend of 4, 5, 6, and 13-year-old Kentucky Straight bourbon whiskeys, selected by master blender John Rea of Kentucky Ale, and blended. So there's the connection by Yusuke Yahashi of Nagahama Distillery.
I think it's the other way around. Yahashi Yusuke.
Well,
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I'm reading this article from Forbes.
Okay, it's printed on the label.
Okay. Well, yeah. Maybe I guess they goofed up, but but yeah. So that's the connection. It's a master blender from Japan who helped blend Kentucky Straight bourbon whiskey.
Yeah.
But one thing that I thought was funny in this Forbes article is it says, following last year's the St. Patrick's edition, a collaboration with Irish Whiskey, which saw 12,000 bottles sell out in 8 months. I'm like, I still see those on the shelves.
Yeah.
I still see those. So I don't know about selling out, but I guess it makes the article better.
Did we try that one?
No.
I think we passed on that one. Because, it's just...
I was honestly...
It's a lot of money to spend.
Confused about what it was.
I also was confused.
I thought it was just another Kentucky Ale that was a different label.
I thought it was
to
just
come
like
out around
a
St.
Patrick's Day, like how makers will do like different labels and colors and stuff. I thought it was just a Kentucky Ale release that was to commemorate St. Patrick's Day, and or like a different Woodford label or something.
The time we found out it actually was in a collaboration with a Irish whiskey company, it was like, it's already come and gone.
But also
the moment's
like,
over.
I would just say that like Irish whiskey is not the core of our channel, and also like having tasted Irish whiskeys before, yes, I can find ones that I enjoy and like pick out the nuances in them. But you know, bourbon and American whiskey has my heart. So when it comes to a price point like that, I'm not going to jump at that opportunity.
Sure.
I'm not the target audience.
Yep.
This one we got at the Kentucky Bourbon Festival as well.
But it does have a price tag of $150.
Right. So a lot.
Yeah, not as much as, the $300 normal Kentucky Owl price point. So they are trying to bring this more to a wider.
And you said the blend was 6, 7,
4, 5, 6, 13.
4, 5, 6, 13.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I personally would like to see the breakdown. I'm spoiled now because Bardstown Bourbon Company does that.
Right.
I would like to see the breakdown just to know how much of it is 4, 5, 6, and 13 at the price point. But, that's just you can't have everything, right?
Yeah. So this is called the Takumi edition, if we haven't said that yet.
All right.
And
so,
it is the proof, 100. Another 100.
100 proof.
Yep.
Which again, for me, cask strength, unfiltered. If I'm spending $150, me personally, I want to decide what proof I want to drink it at. But
right.
Again, you can't win them all.
So John saying $150 for a wider audience. Are you serious? I'll pass. Yeah, it's
then they're
a little bit more than their lowest that has Kentucky Owl on it so far, which was Confiscated.
Confiscated was,
that was
100.
Like 110.
110. Yeah.
So this is close to their lowest. Now they've got the Wiseman. I don't know which way you want to say it.
Oh yeah, and that's like around $50.
Yeah, those are
and they have the rye
less
now
expensive.
too.
They have the rye now. Yeah, but that says Kentucky Owl on it. This is one of the less expensive ones.
I get like a malty note on the nose, which I personally I like it.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Won't mind that.
So is it finished?
No.
It's just blended.
Just blended.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I guess it's just a collab blend. See, but that's kind of how I felt about the Irish too. Like I was a little bit confused as to what it was. Like when you look at this label, this makes me feel like, and maybe it's because it's red, but I was thinking, is it like a sherry finished product? Is it finished in? I don't know.
Well, this is what this article from Forbes says. By allowing Yahishi to work on his formulations representing the thriving Japanese whiskey landscape, the team at Kentucky Owl hopes to marry two styles into a wholly singular product that will appeal to a broad swath of drinkers. So they're also trying to get Japanese whiskey drinkers to notice bourbon.
So it's like a dual purpose
thing.
thing.
I scanned this earlier and it was like, over there you say American whiskey and they think of like Jack Daniels or just something, a $30 bottle. So they're like trying to do this to be like, no, hey, look,
Yeah, okay.
elevated, but we'll see.
It has a malty note on the nose, and then it's very like ripe plum, bright cherry, fig, date type of thing. Which I actually like that note. And that's kind of why, again, I was like, is this wine finished? Because it's so much of that bright, red, purple fruit.
Borderline tropical.
Yeah, almost. But I like that malty note.
Same. All right. Nice little pop of spice there, too. That didn't really get on the nose.
And I still get some of that maltiness, but not in like a young way.
No.
Just in like, I mean, it is, but to be fair, you expect that when it has 4 and 5 blended in with the 13. Like,
and the 6.
I do expect some of that, but I think it's doing something, like it's working it to its advantage. Because I like that malty, like I wouldn't call it cereal, but like that.
A little bit more grain forward, but not in a youthful way. And you know what this concept reminds me of is Jim Beam Legent. Which a lot of people also thought that it was combining Japanese whiskey with, Jim Beam, but it wasn't. It was just the two master distillers from across the pond working together to make a blend that appealed to both.
And that one wasn't finished? I swear it was.
No, I don't think
that
so.
That would be an interesting side-by-side to do this one and the Legent.
Legent. I know you're down
it's
here
over there somewhere. Good luck finding it. I mean, for me, I think it's a nice blend. It's pleasant. However, I see what you're saying. Like, the audience that this is made for, it's meant to do two things, like to be released here and be reflective of... It's supposed to be reflective of both sides for each audience for different reasons. Here, there's definitely a place for this. I don't know if I'm the target. and I don't know if, like, I'm sure some of our audience is the target, but I know some people who are like, again, thinking about if I'm spending over $100 on something, I'm thinking I'm going to paying $10 per year, or per aged year. I'm paying for a higher proof. They have preset things in their mind that they're paying for.
Yeah.
This, I don't think, is going to add up in their minds. Like, I think that most people would agree that this blend it tastes good, that it's a good quality, but I think a lot of people would struggle with the price point.
So we do have a couple
and I
people.
kind of feel that way.
Yeah, I hear you. We got a couple of people saying the Legion is finished. Joseph is saying partially finished in red wine cask.
I thought it was sherry, but can't remember.
So I think what I'm thinking of is there was just no Japanese whiskey in it.
Right.
So they did transform their things, but it still had nothing to do with Japanese whiskey. But we took this to our meetup, so some of our folks have tasted this. So if any of that was you, let us know, weigh in what you thought about it.
What do you think?
I think it's perfectly fine. I think it's very drinkable.
It is very drinkable.
I wouldn't even call it 100 proof. I would say it drinks more like a 93 or 95.
Which is approachable for a broader audience, but like, we know us and what we're looking for. And that's kind of what I was trying to say. I think like there's a subsect of our audience that I can't say how big it is, but I think is looking for something different. So it would be hard to be like, yeah, it tastes good, so buy it. I'm like, yeah, it does taste good. I either wish, personally, I wish it was higher proof. I wish it was lower priced, or I wish,
something.
Not saying that they should change it. I'm just saying like, we're just, we're on two different planes.
Right.
We're on two different axes.
We're working,
we're not meeting, and that's okay. Not every product should be specifically for me. That's why we have so much variety.
Yeah, it's true. I think if you are a big fan of, the batches, Kentucky Owl batch 8, 9, 10, whatever, that's like $300, you're like, well, this is half the price. Is it half as good as that? I would say, yeah, but that isn't as appealing as it sounds. Half as good as $300 doesn't taste like $150 worth, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I would rather have paid like $79.99, $89.99. Yeah. But sub 100, I feel like. And I feel like that's been some people's criticism of Kentucky Owl. Is just that it's a little bit too high of the price point. Now, sometimes they really have a hitter and you're like, this was worth it. But
I can see someone who just generally enjoys whiskey, who has like a pretty solid budget, and who also likes international whiskeys, who likes Japanese whiskeys, appreciating this product and like feeling that it is worth the $150. But I just don't fall into that bucket. So for me, again, I can respect what's in the bottle.
Yeah.
But
Ray. Yeah, Ray probably drank it, right? He says, I think perfectly fine sums up my opinion of it as well. Feel the same way about this as the St. Patrick's Day. Good, but I'll pass at the price point.
Yeah.
So, when it's poured for you and offered to you, you're like, I'm fine with this. I'm having a good time. But when you got to shell out the money,
well,
it depends because people have different wallets, right?
Sure.
So some people, $150 drop in the bucket, but to other people, that's a big deal, and you'd be sort of like, ew.
Well, I also think we're operating in a landscape today where we see new releases $100 plus every week. It feels like something new is coming out every week that's over $100, and like, I don't know if every company is taking into account like what that means to the consumer. Yeah. I think they're looking at, all these $100 releases are coming out, $100 plus limited releases are coming out, and people are buying them. Therefore, we should do more of those. And everybody's thinking that way because they're like, we want to get in on that action.
We want to get that $150.
But what they're not thinking about is then when you introduce all those, and then your average everyday consumer who normally would splurge on a few of those a year, maybe, is now like, okay, well, I can't buy all of these. So then they're going to become hyper selective with what they're going to buy. And they're going to wait for those ones. Like, you know what I mean? You're not going to jump at the chance to get this one if you see it, because you're going to be waiting for the next one. You're saying, okay, I have 5 slots a year.
What's right around the corner?
Right, I have 5 slots a year, or 2 slots a year, or 1. I'm not going to choose this one because it doesn't exactly fit what I think it should. People are just going to be way more selective about how they're going to fill those slots of LE bottles.
But here's the power of marketing right here. Again, from Ray, says, I do think the bottle is pretty, though, so I probably would have bought it if I didn't try it
It
first.
is pretty.
Yeah. And that's why marketing and labels and, you know, the graphic design teams and all that are so important nowadays. Now more than ever. Because there's such competition for that shelf space and for the, ooh, shiny.
Yeah.
Need that on the bar cart.
I don't think, like, people pose this question a lot, like, oh, is the bourbon boom going to bust? When's that going to happen? I don't think it's going to be, like, a total bust, in my opinion. No. But I do think there is a subset of the industry, which is, and again, it's not this bottle's fault. I feel like this bottle's getting it, but it's what this bottle represents, other bottles in this category where people are really piling on, like distilleries are really piling on in this specific area. I think this specific area of the bourbon boom will bust. There will be too many super premium limited edition options, and like you said, they will sit on the shelves. Like there will come a time when people are just tired of it, I think.
Yeah.
Or at least the real, you know, bourbon enthusiasts. Not real, but like the, you know, intense bourbon enthusiasts are going to be like, y'all can have it.
It's an interesting question. I don't think we've seen you here, Heathcliff. That's Heathcliff on his Abbey.
Wouldn't have known. I didn't know.
Really? Yeah, Heathcliff. Although he looks orange like... Well, he is also orange. What's up with the orange cats? Anyway, he says, I'm looking to start... I don't know. I'm assuming he or she. I'm not sure. But anyway... I'm looking to start a whiskey collection. Does common bottles of bourbon also worth collecting? Will it gain value over time, or should I stick with the rare ones? Thanks. You do see common bottles get a following, but it does take time. Like you look at probably a $10 bottle of Wild Turkey from the 80s, or even more so the 70s. Cheesy gold foil stuff.
Now is worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
But that's 50 years.
That's 50
40
years.
40 to 50 years, you know?
I mean, stuff... We're also... It's just like comic books, right? We're aware of value now. So it's like in the 90s when everyone's like, I'm going to start collecting comics because these from the 30s and 40s and 50s are worth a lot of money.
And then that caused them to be worth nothing, right?
To be worth nothing. Well, they also started printing... so many of them, and I often kind of talk about the bourbon boom in the way that comic books kind of had their bust with let's put out 5 different covers and each one has a different hologram, and instead of charging $1.25 they're going to be $3.99 or $4.99 each, and then they just got tired of that, and then comics sort of took a dive.
But comics still exist and people still like comics.
Yeah, even though digital is...
But people don't go for this limited edition holographic, comic book. Not as much, right?
Like, I'm out of the scene, so I don't really know. But...
I'm just saying I feel like that's what's happening.
Yes. Now, I will say this. We have some bottles from, like, 2014, 2015, Wild Turkey, 101, that were like, these taste a little different than nowadays, and they got a little something. Now, I don't know what those would go for if you're thinking
Probably
of...
not.
Resale or anything like that, but they are tasty, and you work in like popular distilleries like Buffalo Trace, like anything from the early 2000s from them, they'll be like, yeah, it's Buffalo Trace, yeah, of course.
Would you encourage day one today starting as not just building a collection of bourbons from which to drink? Starting today, I'm a bourbon collector now, and I'm going after those bottles so that I can buy them and then hang on to them for a few years.
Bottles
and then
that you can buy on the shelf now?
Yes.
Because
what is there on the shelf now that
you could? I just don't know how well it will go for you.
That's what I mean.
So I would say to go after things like this, the very first edition from a new distillery, but that has some clout behind it because of Dixon Dedman, Kentucky Owl, it's batch 1. Even that blueprint, like, you never know. Like, when Castle and Key put out their very first whiskey, I bought a bottle and set it aside. Because I'm like, it's a little keepsake. In 10 years, I'm going to be like, oh, look, it's the very first thing the Castle and Key... Shush.
I have a problem with this approach.
The very first thing the Castle and Key ever put it. Now, if they become like the next... Not even the next Buffalo Trace, if they're just like a a real solid player. Like if they're in the same conversation with Wild Turkey and Four Roses and Jim Beam and Heaven Hill and everyone, that very first edition #1, it's sort of like #1 first comic, right? Mm-hmm. It's sort of like that could have some value to it. So instead of just going and buying a 2020 bottle of Buffalo Trace and put it on your shelf and hoping in 20 years it's going to be worth something, I would look out for more smaller, startups that might build up to be a good legacy brand, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I don't like Chad's approach because...
I don't do it all the time.
Uh-huh. You don't?
No. No.
That's not true.
I don't.
It's not true.
I don't.
I think you have to be more selective than just like, oh, it's a new product from somebody, or it's a new distillery, it's the first edition or whatever, because you will quickly... First of all, it's a big gamble because these are all long shots. Like, right, every day more distilleries put out a new product or whatever. So, like, you're not going to be able to keep up. So I think you have to be more discerning. Like this one, I could see the logic because, like, we've seen Dixon's success with Kentucky Owl.
Yeah.
So then you can transfer and be like, okay, his first new release, on his own or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to get this one, and we're going to use the same logic with Hidden Barn.
With Jackie's I Can.
With Jackie's I Can.
Yeah.
But, like, every time a distillery releases a new product and it's the first batch, like, you're going to go broke going that way. So I feel like being somewhat discerning, and I think spreading it out, if you're going to try to start, you're just in for hurting when it comes to your wallet in general, because gone are the days of finding, like, a steal in the back corner of some, mom and pop liquor store.
Yes, outside of Kentucky. And outside of this country.
It's much fewer and farther between. People
Correct.
have this romanticized idea of what
Correct.
bourbon hunting is going to be like in their heads based on the way it was 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago.
Uh-huh.
It just isn't like that anymore.
Yeah.
It can still be fun, though. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't get your hopes up too much. Like,
Yeah.
maybe a mix of some, like, good finds from, allocated distilleries that are everyday stuff, some first editions like this, and if you do come across a rare bottle at a fair price, then sure. But I also would encourage you to buy things to drink. So there's the spiel.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
That was long.
Also, you have to think, and that's what we're getting ready to taste here, is when Dixon started Kentucky Owl, 2014, I believe, a lot easier to get awesome older barrels. Not easy, but easier than 2022. So, like, he had a challenge in front of him here to get these things to blend. Now, the 2XO, the story behind that is everything is twice barreled.
Mm-hmm. I can smell it.
And it's also two proprietary mash bills. Where was I reading about that?
I don't know.
Here. Yeah. 2XO, meaning 2 times oak, refers to Dixon's unique blending process where he rebarrels his hand-selected aged whiskey into new charred oak barrels to create a unique combination of intense flavors, character, and complexity with each blend. The Phoenix blend is a blend of Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. This is the Phoenix blend, by the way. Comprised of 2 proprietary mash bills from 2 different distilling partners. One, a moderate rye content, and the other, a very high rye bourbon mash bill.
At 104 proof,
Yep.
does it say the MSRP?
$100.
$100. Okay,
Yeah.
so again, we're seeing. But, like...
And thank you to Don.
Thank you to Don.
He brought this to the meetup.
And he left it with
at
us.
the meetup. So thank you, Don.
Now,
Aloha.
Speaking of, we thought, we were saying $150 high on the last one, even though it was a blend that included 13-year. We don't know how much 13-year. And at 100 proof, we're like, I have to love it. I need to love it. This one, 104 proof, cheaper by $50, $100.
Yes.
And then we also can understand, like, I don't know the age of what's in here.
I don't think so.
But we know just from, like, again, when people say, oh, I expect to pay, $10 per aged year in the bottle, we also can expect to pay more for finished products. So knowing that this is, like, sourced, there's
2 barrels.
a
Barrels
fee.
are expensive.
Barrels are expensive. We're doing finishing. That takes time. So we can see how we got to $100.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that you should still feel that it tastes like $100 for you. to buy it. But just keeping that in mind as we're thinking about the price.
This, by the way, is on Reserve Bar, and I've also seen it on Keg and Bottle.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Now, it's tough because we know Dixon. We love Dixon. He's a hell of a guy. So we want to say only great and wonderful things about this. But it's good. I'm, looking forward to the next batch after the Phoenix batch.
Yeah, I mean, the things that I like about this, I think up front it has a nice mouthfeel. I like the 104 proof. I can definitely get the finishing aspects, like the double barrel on the nose, on the palate. Like, I like that oak. It's giving, like, darker, brown sugar, toasty notes that I think are really nice. A little bit of chocolate in there. But there's also kind of a cinnamon note, and it runs a little hot.
Runs a little hot, and it's a little dry too because of the two barrels. And I think it sort of goes. I mean, the heat lingers, but the finish kind of goes kind of quick. I wish it was a little bit more viscous and it stuck around more in the chest.
Yeah.
I feel like the heat stays on the tongue and in the mouth, but it's sort of a little quicker finish than what I want.
It gets a little fiery for me. But again, outside of that, I feel like there's a lot in the pros column. Those are just, the things that for me aren't hitting.
Those would be
100%.
Our criticisms.
But I think as again, you're working with what you can source, you're finishing, you're blending, you're doing what you can with it. I think that this shows his vision. And I like the direction. Like you said, I would buy the next bottle, the next release, because I would want to know how it's progressing. Yeah.
Obviously the Phoenix blend, that's no accident. It's sort of rising from the ashes of his former partnership, right? With that brand and setting out on his own.
Have any of you all tried this? What do you think? Sean says the finish is too short for him. I think that the oak lingers, but it's like that little bit of tannic dryness that I think carries on for me. And then it's just like all those flavors that I love up front, it kind of feels like they go whoosh, up in, not flames, but it sounds very aggressive, but like like that. And then the dryness is what hangs. So I like the flavors in the beginning, and I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, he was saying something. Sean say something. What?
Nothing. Keep going.
Oh, okay.
I like watching you read. It's very entertaining.
Well, he said somewhere. Oh, he said, okay, here it is. Just cracked my 2XO, trying to decide how I feel about it. Seen many people fawning over it, but I'm wondering if it could just be people loving anything with Dixon on it. I mean, yes, we do struggle with...
like, how do you separate Dixon, who is just the sweetest, most genuine, just kind human.
And talented
guy. Such a great blender, and has amazing palate. How do you separate him, having spent time with him, from the product? But you have to. That's our job. If you're
going to be in this business, you got to do it.
Dixon, if you're watching this, I love you. And I can't wait. I would buy the next bottle. I want to know where this goes.
I think the price is right once you hear what's under the hood. Now, I don't want to contradict myself because I've told people who have commented you should be fine with the price because of the specs, and I'm like, doesn't work that way. It's how you like it on the taste. But I'm talking about from an expense sheet report.
Yeah, and I think we already established.
It makes sense. The two barrels,
the sourcing,
2 proprietary mash bills blending together.
The time it takes to
taste-wise, is it tasting like $100? Maybe a little below that on this blend, but like you said, I would still buy the next blend for the same price for $100.
I feel like
and try it out because I know his track record, I know his talents. This is good enough to where I will buy the next bottle as well.
Don said, who has tried both of them. Don said, I would pay $100 for 2XO every day over the $150 for the Takumi.
Okay. I don't know where that was.
It's at the very bottom.
There it is.
Which, from someone else who's had it. I think this is more in line with the flavor profiles that I like, the proof, the feeling on the finish, that I personally prefer. This is more in line for me between the two products. But I also don't think, like, it's necessarily fair to compare the two because they're very different visions. And, like, I don't see when Dixon had been there. Like, I guess I just can't see it being his vision to do the that particular collab. So, like, it's not like I'm thinking, oh, well, if Dixon had been behind them both, then it would have worked. I just think they're just two very different executions of different visions.
Yeah.
What? What are you giggling about?
That is a deep
I saw that and I was
cut.
like, what?
That is a deep cut. Okay.
Moving on.
Moving on. Joey Tony back at Donuts saying, I got some new bottles this week. Karma must be a real thing, but tonight I'm trying the C922s from Heaven Hill.
The Larceny and the Elijah Craig Barrel
Those
Proof.
are good ones.
Hope
and then
you
we
enjoy
got
them.
Gerald with the $10 super chat saying, thanks for testing these so we can be better informed for our collections.
Yeah.
I think those two deserve a triangle.
A triangle for you? Anything.
There we go. There we go.
I think this would be a fun one, like, if you have some friends who are big, Dixon fans, if you can get, a group of buddies together and everybody pitches in, I don't know, you got 5 friends, pitch in $20 each. That's what you would pay at a bar, right? To try it. I don't know to try this specifically, but if you guys were going out for drinks at a bar, you're going to spend at least $20. And to try it, and if you've got other Kentucky Owl products, taste them, discuss. I don't know. It could be fun. I think it's a fun discussion, but yeah. We've given you our notes.
There you go.
Do with them what you will.
Yeah, so I think, if this were versus the Kentucky Owl...
But I don't think that's fair.
I would say the winner's here, though.
Well, I didn't feel like either one was a 100% match for me. I don't think I would have swiped right.
But versus each other.
But, so, I like to spend less money, so I would spend less money.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like I said, I think this one, flavor profile wise, is more up my alley. For sure. It's just, that's what I like. Yeah. So, those dark, yummy flavors.
Agreed.
Get out of here, little Sarah. She's
taking too much real
me.
estate.
She said, no, I'm just kidding. I love her. I'm like, you're in my way.
And now for something completely different.
Oh, let's do it.
A little meaty sample here of Jack Daniel's twice barreled. This is their 2022. This is their 5th special release. That's their 2022 special release. And this year, it is an American single malt. Got some info about this as well.
Look at you with all the links already pulled up. Man, I came unprepared. I didn't even bring my pen to class.
Which is funny. They say the proof ranging from 106.1 to 107.8. So 106 to almost
sounds like radio stations.
108. What do you think this proof is?
106. I don't know.
105.7.
Ooh, weird.
Maybe that's why it's a media sample. But made from 100% malted barley at the distillery, aged for a minimum of 4 years in new charred American oak barrels, and then given a secondary maturation for an additional 2 years in Spanish Oloroso sherry casks from
for me, that's
the Antonio Paz Cooperage.
Oh, I couldn't hear you, Chad. You were mumbling.
I think the audio cut out. It's... Where's
yeah,
that?
I'm not gonna attempt that pronunciation here. I'm gonna
MSRP.
butcher it.
$70. But it's gonna be in a 700 ml as opposed to 750. Some type of TTB ruling. I gotta look that up. I'm not sure what happened there.
Huh.
So 100% single malt.
That's good.
Wood is dark. That's probably that 2 years in the
is.
Oloroso sherry cask.
See, Oloroso sherry is hit and miss for me. I really was not a fan of the Wild Turkey Master's Keep that had the Oloroso sherry. Lots of other Oloroso sherry finished products that I've tried, and most of them have been a no. Sherry in general, sherry and port are like 50-50. Actually, probably less. More like they have like maybe a 30% success rate for me.
They don't have a great success rate.
Not a great track record in my book. I like wine finishes, but those in particular. Now in scotches, yes, like it. Like a sherry finish.
There you go. Hey, J.G. Wentworth, 877 Mash Now says, 877 Mash Now. I want my whiskey and I want it now. Thank you, person we've now met. J.G. Wentworth, 877 Mash Now.
Thank you, person we've now met.
That's how I greet people I know.
Oh.
Hi, person that we've met.
Yeah, good job, Chad.
How are you?
I'm so proud of you for remembering.
Yeah, proof.
Wait, is Little Sarah taller than this bottle?
105.7.
No.
Close.
Now they can go out.
Little Chad's over there crying in the corner.
He can go out with a sample bottle.
Okay, yeah, I guess so. He is taller than a sample bottle.
This is Little Chad's date. Okay, I'm done. I'm done.
Cut her off. So, you know. Yes, the cooperage, my favorite.
Oh,
It's probably Scottish.
it was Antonio Paez. What did it say? I'm probably butchering. There it is. Antonio Paez, right? I think Paez, Lobato Cooperage.
Antonio Paez
Lobato.
Lobato.
Probably wrong, but that's closer than the mumbling that you did.
Yeah. Oh, it's
It does
also
have a little bit of a reddish
It does. It's also
burgundy color.
charcoal mellowed before barreling, also known as the Lincoln County process. So it still gets, of course, the Jack Daniels process.
Yeah.
Even though it's an American single malt, they still gotta run it through that charcoal maple.
Okay. The malt, I honestly felt like the one that we had earlier, the Kentucky Owl, felt a little bit more malty to me.
I do like the nose. I gotta say that.
There's
Because it's not
graham cracker.
Okay, you know how some whiskeys smell like dry malt? Like you're actually...
Like, yeah.
This smells like a wet malt, if that makes sense. Like, not dry malt. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, sure.
So...
I think it smells like graham crackers, and honestly, the specific smell reminds me of in preschool when they would give us graham crackers and apple juice. And I would dip the graham crackers in my apple juice.
Oh, yeah?
And that's what the smell reminds me of.
How can you remember that long ago?
The smell.
Okay. Yeah, smell. It's a very strong memory.
I wouldn't have thought about that if I hadn't smelled it.
Sure. It's
That's
a
where
wet malt.
my hatred of celery began, even though I like celery now, because they tried to feed us ants on a log, and you know my feelings about ants. I hate ants. In preschool,
Some people might not know what ants on a log is.
ants on a log is celery chopped in... You know what it is.
Well, yes, but...
Okay. Celery piece, and then in the, groove, you put peanut butter, and then you put raisins on top of it, and it's ants on a log. And... raisins, not a child's favorite snack. Peanut butter, yes. The celery is just a vehicle.
No.
But in my mind, I really hate ants. So, the idea of a food being named after an insect that I despise. So, honestly, celery was ruined for me for a really long time because of preschool. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, I don't like celery either because you just have to chew it for so
It gets a little
long.
stringy.
It gets so stringy.
It's a textural thing.
I got to find something else to put peanut butter on. This isn't worth it. You can't trick me to eat celery.
I'd rather have carrots. But anyways.
Yeah, me too. All right.
But anyways, core memory. Oh. Ooh. Ooh.
Better than the other day when we
What did
tried
you say? 105?
105.7.
Oh my goodness. I got more than that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Better than when we first opened it. I get the malty, but I still get that graham cracker honey, honey grams.
Mm-hmm.
Not apple juice so much. A little bit of the wine, but it's not overpowering. The sherry.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it tastes like a normal Oloroso sherry finished bourbon.
No. Well, yeah, because
It's also not jumping out
malt.
as a wine. It's just giving it that syrupy kind of fruity. I don't know. Let me go back.
Yeah.
You found another celery hater.
Good. Excellent.
It actually is the malty and the sherry is coming across as chocolatey. Like a crunch bar that has the Crispies in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely liking this more than when we
Than when we opened it the
straight
other
up had it. It was, the first first whiskey of the day.
And it doesn't scream Jack Daniels either.
It does not. No. There's no banana in here.
There is no banana to be found.
No. And we do like cast strength Jack Daniels stuff.
This is drinking, experience-wise, higher than 105.
Yes.
Blind taste test, I'm saying at least
112.
115. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Square pizza, milk chocolate. Now,
Chocolate milk.
now everyone's just talking about their childhood.
Yeah. Anytime I see a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, I think about just like when you first get out of the pool, like when you've been swimming all day and on summer break, you get out of the pool.
I think you've said this before, and I can't relate.
You can't relate? Oh, and the sandwiches are kind of soggy because they've been in the cooler all day.
Because you've
Or ham
they've
sandwiches.
been in the pool with you?
Not in the pool, in the cooler. Peanut butter and jelly, or I can't eat peanut butter and jelly because of being fed them literally every single day for an entire summer. I was like, I'm gonna puke.
I used to take a peanut butter and jelly sandwich to school every day for lunch.
Isn't that weird though? Because I literally eat the same thing for breakfast every single day now.
I haven't had one in a long time, but I could... Oh, actually, that sounds really good.
Peanut butter and jelly?
Yes.
We might have some jelly. Can make you some after this.
Oh, man.
We'll see.
Okay.
Can make you. Do you like that?
I might could make you.
Can make you some.
could make you one.
Don't you like that?
Very southern.
It's cute. Yeah, like deli ham sandwiches with the Kraft Singles cheese on the white bread, all pressed together, and you get out of the pool. You have the chips. Memories.
JG saying, I just poured corn to run. That's one of our barrel picks. Is it creepy that I stare at the tater sticker for an unusually long period of time? If you're not familiar, that sticker in question is
Of Chad's backside.
my ass.
We debated on whether or not I should do one and he should do the other one, and I said there's no universe in which I'm putting my backside on a bottle and putting it on the internet. It's basically this.
Right there.
You know, you all know it. You love it. You've seen it before.
It's corn to run.
And also, Bruce Springsteen's a dude, so it felt fitting that it was
Corn
you,
in the
but-
USA. That's right. I do want a sandwich.
All right, well, we'll get you a sandwich.
Okay.
We don't have the right bread for it, but
True.
peanut butter and jelly specifically goes on white bread. We don't have any of that in the house.
Yeah. Creamy or crunchy? Creamy all the way for me.
I could go either way. It depends on my mood. Mostly creamy, but like sometimes I want a crunchy peanut butter sandwich.
Never.
What?
Never.
No, I just enjoy the finer things. Peanut butter's peanut butter. Who doesn't like... never mind.
No,
Why?
no.
I shouldn't even argue. He's stuck in his... Doesn't like change.
No, it's just...
Creamy peanut butter.
I like... Or I don't like pulp in my orange juice. Keep the pulp
Who cares?
out of my orange juice. Keep the peanuts out of my peanut butter. That sounds weird, but...
But if it's like freshly juiced orange juice, it's going to have pulp in it. Are you saying that freshly juiced orange juice is
through a
worse?
sieve.
Why waste it? It's good. It's good fruit nutrition.
Then I'll eat an orange. If I want to drink an orange, I'll drink it. If I want to eat an orange, I'll eat it.
All right, this isn't why they came. This is not why they came.
100% why that came.
I like this better than I thought I would.
Me too. For $70, I think it's a good roll of the dice as to whether you would like it or not.
Dare I say that it is my favorite thing that we've tried tonight?
Really?
Uh-huh.
Not mine, but
I'd put it.
I like it.
I'd put it up with that 2XO. Like I would. Those would be the two I would try against each other. But I think I like it.
See, this has the mouthfeel that
I like it.
that I wish,
Yeah.
the other things had. It does.
And
Really
I
have
like
a really
the
good-
malty. And I'm shocked that I like the Oloroso. Like, now that I go back to the nose, I can smell the sherry on the nose. Faintly, though. It's working.
The maltiness is getting in the way.
I think it was almost like a sherry finish was meant for something that was malty. You know? But,
Yeah.
anyways.
I think it was a good idea for them to finish it instead of just putting out 100% malt.
Malted, yeah.
4-year-old,
I-
Jack Daniels.
I'm a fan. I would buy this.
Yeah.
And I think, again, 105 proof, special release.
I mean, really, it says it should be 106 to 108,
Right.
just about.
A finished, a malted whiskey. I don't know if malt's more expensive, less expensive, but
It is definitely a trend of distilleries to put out a malt American whiskey.
I appreciate that it's under $80.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know,
agreed.
because again, I'm not saying that everyone should be applauded for putting out a limited release that's under $80. Because like it used to be, if you wanted more than $100 for something, people would be like, "You crazy," unless it's like the best thing they've ever had. And nowadays, it feels like
Like them
good job.
and Maker's Mark with the
wood finishing.
the wood finishing series,
Yeah.
keeping those.
Honestly, keeping Elijah Craig
Low.
barrel proof at the price that it's at, like,
Yeah.
I
Well,
like,
that's
we
not
like
a
to
special
see
release, but as we all know.
Do not start this debate again. I'm not in the mood.
I rest my case.
I will knock little Chad over.
We'll stomp him with little Sarah.
Big Sarah will stomp. Not so little Sarah.
Not as little Sarah.
Not as little Sarah.
Yeah, not as little Sarah.
Yeah. Sarah's
In-
like the Sarah's like
N-A-L Sarah. Not as little.
little Sarah's like the boss that little Chad has to fight after he gets through all the levels.
Yeah. You're the boss battle. You're the main boss battle.
Yeah.
The big boss
You gotta
battle.
take me down.
Yeah.
But really, all it requires is 3 bumps on the head. Remember, it would be like, just bump him
I
on
just
the
had
head
to
3
throw
times.
radishes at you.
Yeah, and I'll go
In
away.
Mario 2.
Apparently, just throw celery with ants on it at me.
Celery with ants. And of course, with our faces here.
She do?
Are you doing it? Are you doing it? Are you doing it?
Nope.
There she goes. Look, she's got the Bourbon Night shirt on.
She's got a cup of bourbon.
Cup of bourbon.
She's got a chin dimple. She's got everything.
Look at the back of the hair.
Curls.
She's got volume.
She's got curls. She's got volume.
Maybe it's Maybelline. Or maybe you're born with it.
It's debatable.
It is. So yeah.
Lito has a good point. He said you said you enjoy a sherry finished single malt scotch, although the Jack Daniels is not a scotch, it is a single malt nonetheless, and therefore it shouldn't be a surprise you enjoy it. And I think that's a great point. I think I like malt and sherry together.
Yeah.
Not bourbon and sherry. So fair enough.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You want me to go make you that sandwich?
Yes.
Apparently it's all I'm good for.
I need a sandwich. We accomplished what we came here to do tonight.
We did. I was honestly surprised. I'm surprised that I feel this way, but I'm actually glad.
Yeah, me too.
I like finding a non-Jack Daniel's single barrel proof product that I'm like, yay.
Well, there
are other things.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, I
the
like adding to the...
10-year we liked.
Sure. I'm just saying I like adding to the list.
Yeah. It's starting to come down to where the only Jack Daniel's things we don't like is Old Number 7 and
Gentleman Jack.
for sure.
Did you hear that?
It's just Zoe.
Okay. All right. Well, on that note, the house is haunted and we have to go.
Unless she invited some friends over. I don't know. Maybe she did.
As she's known to do.
As she's known to do.
After 9, they have to go home.
It's true. Street
right.
lights come on, but that's like at 5 now because of stupid
And we're
daylight
back to
savings.
the... what it's like outside.
Weather and the time.
The weather and the time. We're back.
Yeah. We'll be back next Sunday.
We
We'll
will.
be doing something. It will involve drinking whiskey.
It's a surprise
I
to everyone, including us.
guarantee you it'll involve drinking whiskey. So thanks for watching. We will see you all next Sunday. And until then, drink more bourbon. Bye-bye.
Bye.